So wait, you didn't shove 6 pounds of venison up his ass? That's pretty gay. You don't shove 5 pounds of beef up someone's. Hey, my audience is here. Call you later, I guess. What do you want? You want a video? I don't want a fucking video. Why am I checking my pockets? I don't have anything in here. I have one thing in here. It's rattling. It's fucking heart locket I found. Yeah, isn't that special? Look, some of the heart locket glistens. It exists! Anyways, it's just going to be another ramble video where I sit here and, like old times, talk to a camera and tell everyone to go fuck themselves because I'm bitter. Why is my shirt glowing? See that? It's like it ate too much uranium or something. Thanks, 70s orange. You made the world a worse place. Just got some royalish blue to contrast. I look like a fucking 90s hipster. Talking about the 90s. Wasn't even born in the 90s. Or, yeah, this was, despite how I look fucking 30, this did not experience the 90s. Shocking, I know. I look like a fucking 30-something-year-old fat ass stuck in a dead-end life. Just gonna go home to an apartment. No one's there. It's filthy, dirty, and small. And sink is overflowing with dishes because I'm too lazy to wash them. Go home, take an IV bag full of Southern Comfort and just stick it directly into my veins, and I say, why? What happened to me? Right. So, there's a sort of Undertale spin-off. Don't leave! Don't fucking leave. I already made a shit post about it. You're poisoned. You got Sugma. It's like Ligma, but worse. Well, it's not worse, it's just lesser known, so kind of is worse because no one treats it. Anyway, yeah, since you're already affected with Sugma, what am I doing with my life? Yeah, you gotta stay here and experience my blathering about why I think this is a, So let's just put it like this. There's like, in games, for me, there's like Half-Life 2. This is my personal fucking rambling, so this is like, none of this makes sense if you haven't gathered it by now. There's just like, Half-Life 2, TF2, Modern Warfare 2, Call of Duty World of War, Undertale, Deltarune. Sure. It's like, okay, you have Undertale, right? But there's surprisingly little Undertale in a spin-off of Undertale. What? How? Why? When? Where? Who? Can I buy a vowel? And if you don't have any, it would probably be like I or something. Anyway, he's like, we're gonna make a new Undertale game. Spin-off thing. Oh, cool! What is it? Oh, it's Undertale. It's just not rendered. And, there's no one. No one's there. The most you can get is, a few cameos in the beginning sequence, and this emo fucker who just kind of pops up, slams you against a bunch of lockers, brings you into a disappearing closet like you're Tom Cruise. I'm never coming out. Tom Cruise, it's me, John Travolta. You gotta get out, man. Nah, come in here with me. Okay, we gotta get R. Kelly. R. Kelly, you don't come out of the closet. I'm not pulling out my gun! Yeah, you get stuck in the closet, much like Tom Cruise. And then you walk on a bunch of papers, which disappear somehow. And then you drop, like, the fucking bridge that got cut in half, but it's paper. And then you get a shitty Metaton costume, and the guy's name is Chris. It makes no sense! And then there's fucking the Ace of Spades, like it's Motorhead or something. The Ace of Spades! That was a horrible fucking song impression, I'm sorry. What is this? And then you got, like, every time I think of the other guy's name is Susie, I'm just like, every time I think of that, I just think of Modern Warfare 4. Oh, Susie! Fucking, I'd love to see that. Just Macmillan just appears out of nowhere. Oh, Susie! Captain Price. Imagine that. Imagine Captain McMillan just pops up with a fucking ghillie suit and shoots you in the head. Wow. That's probably why they chose a more traditional RPG with a battle system, which I think it's Undertale. What made, in again my fucking opinion, I think what made Undertale so goddamn good was it wasn't emphasizing the battle. It was emphasizing, well, the choice that you can just not battle, i.e. the good ending, and it's more focused on story. That fucking story made me, like, cry for 7. Yes, I'm not ashamed of saying it made me cry for like 7 days straight. I got dehydrated. Anyway. But then you make a sequel, which, is it me, or does this Chris person wear an outfit that makes him, her, whatever, look like Inglorious Bastards Hitler with a haircut and a color scheme change? Nine! I didn't see Inglorious Bastards, I just saw that scene. Hitler yelling in the... Right. Brad Pitt. So, there's that. There's like, the river person. And then there's like, I don't know who that is or what it is. Okay, pulls off the cloak, right? And then it's like, this fucking cousin It decided to become a weeaboo or something. And I forgot the guy's name. It's like Rouse, right? Get it? Rouse is an anagram for Azrael. Oh, genius. It's not like Azrael Dreamer is already a fucking anagram of serial murderer. If that wasn't just, yeah, you have the fucking nice guy. Oh, by the way, yeah, spell my name a different way. Use the letter, swap them around. Serial murderer. Isn't that just a fucking wonderful fucking thing? Das Boot. I like to think of this as some sort of Pinot Noir. Or something. But, you know. I'm going to need a lot of alcohol to get it. It's not even alcohol, it's just sour grape juice. aside from the painful reveal, God, I don't know, I might be fucking biased because I love Undertale so much, and Asriel is like one of my favorite fucking characters of all time. You have, like, you got Asriel, who's like, he gets his story built up, and it turns out that he was spoilers, it turns out that he was the fucking flower douchebag the whole time. Somehow, I don't know, maybe he just had a sudden face turn like he's Darth Vader or some shit. From what I understand, Kara, whatever her fucking name is, fell down the hole and she's evil and she's some sort of demon or something, like she's a fucking shadow man or the yeah, Kara's the shadow man, confirmed. Yeah, start fucking growing tentacles and asking for the summoning key. And you got the fucking keepers coming. I just started a podcast, I don't know. It's me sitting in front of this. It's just a little live stream. Kind of walks in, just falls down a hole, I guess. I know the intro's like trips over a vine, but it's just like a big ass hole on a mountain that's known for people disappearing. And, like, okay, big ass hole, long jump, secluded mountain known for people disappearing. That sounds like the fucking suicide forest. Like, no one just goes there on a hike, alone, at night. Maybe it wasn't at night, but whatever. Falls down the hole, breaks her leg, or does whatever. I think she'd be fine. She got basically fucking this much caliber, this long bullets in the form of bones that are rounded off at the edge, just fired at her. I think she'd be fine. And, like, Asriel comes over, does his bit. They do their thing. They become friends. They talk a lot. They fuck a lot if they, image Ursa to be believed. That's my head canon because I'm a fucking horny perv. And, anyway. They do their thing. Kara gets sick or poisons herself like Romeo and Juliet. I think only one of them poisoned themselves, though. I think poisons herself like fucking Himmler. Dies. Soul comes out. Asriel's just so fucking devastated. That's an odd sound effect for an absorption of soul, isn't it? Anyway, that whole bit happens. Asriel takes the body and puts it on the flowers in the village. Which, using arrows and clubs, it doesn't sound like a modern village. If it is, then Kara's probably living in some Mongolian steppe tribe or as a TARDIS going back in the fucking 1200s or something. Or at a Renaissance fair or a... Fucking, they still have thatching on their goddamn houses instead of a roof. To alcohol. Even though this doesn't have any alcohol. The cause of and solution to all of life's problems. Yeah. That happens. That does their whole thing. Yeah. And he's supposed to be God, right? When he collects a soul and does his thing, he becomes God, right? Like, doesn't he? Like, if you attack him in Undertale, he takes no damage. At all. What? Okay, a knife. Fucking dagger. With a somewhat powerful person, I would assume. Frisk is pretty small, but Then again, so is everyone. So, a sharp weapon with a lot of power behind it from a moderately strong person comes at you, no damage whatsoever. A club, you hit in the head a few times. Okay, yeah, granted that maybe this is like fucking beating on him, but my question is like, why arrows and clubs? Like, realistically, if this was just like any town in bumfuck America, which probably isn't, yeah. Imagine if Mount Emmett was in like a fucking Rocky Mountain. Or imagine if it was in like Kentucky. Yeah. You got Colonel Sanders rising from the dead with an M60. I don't think you mount M60s. I think you mount MG42s, but I don't think it would be... Are they German? Is Kara German? She looks German. She's pale. She's got the light hair. You got the... She doesn't really talk. Can't hear an accent. Anyway. Yeah. That whole happens. My point is, they wouldn't be using arrows and clubs. They'd be using 50 cals and hand grenades. And if it was bad enough, napalm. Yeah, because they just have so much left over from Vietnam and they're just itching to use it. Yeah, that happens. He comes back, dies again. Like, okay, Kara dies, Azrael absorbs the soul, he dies, coming back, and they're somehow, like, interfused in his dust, and it spread on the fucking flowers, and one flower is fucking brought up by Alfie's, who is just like SCP-682's more intelligent sister, does her whole thing with it, becomes a consciousness inside a fucking... This makes no sense. But at least it's a story. At least it's like, this happens, this is a narrative. It's a complicated one. It's one that you probably won't get your head around in the first game or so. But you can still follow it. In Undertale, you have, like, there's no intro. There's just background information. You're in a hole. Or fell down a hole. Go through what it can only seem to be a mine shaft or something. Do the whole bit. Toriel shows up. That happens. Blah, blah, blah. The world keeps fucking chugging along. Choo-choo. God damn, that was too much. It's not like, okay, Chris, who, like, going to university, I think, right? So whoever this Chris person is looks to be probably seems to be about 20, maybe 19, generous, right? Being generous. But I'm gonna say Chris is a girl, so I can just be more consistent with the pronouns and shit. Chris is supposed to be going to university, as far as I know. I haven't played the game much because I quit it and stopped playing. Did that whole bit, did that thing. Like, she's not like Frisk, who's, I can assume, to be like a younger person, like maybe 13, maybe 14, maybe my age. 14, I already said it. But this is supposed to be like an at least 18, 19-year-old person, human being, fully grown, I would assume. I guess. And then you drop in this fucking Betty Crocker with a goddamn snoot. And then pins her to the wall, and then walks in the goddamn... There's no narrative here. There's just nothing. There's nothing here. God! This makes me angry. Like, there's no semblance of a... Oh, God. Not getting lymphoma, am I? Hope not. Yeah, God. Right. Right. What was I talking about? Oh, yeah. Oh, right. You just kind of makes no sense. Makes no sense. Is it me, or there seems to be a pretty big duality with Azrael and Ralsei, or maybe the fuck you pronounce that thing's name. First of all, you get to, for lack of a better term, you get to sort of marinate. That's a horrible adjective, but whatever. You get to sort of marinate in the backstory when you go through the little house, but it's all in black and white like a fucking film noir or something. You go around, learn about the story. You feel pity for him, and like this is the first time you're probably hearing about the guy, and you've never seen him. You don't know what he looks like until the end of the game. You do that whole thing, and then you see him, and it turns out he was sort of the guy pulling the strings all the time through the flower, fucking mocking you and tormenting you. And then he shows up, and he's like trying to kill you as a god this time, not just as a flower, but as like him in god form. Like this is like he's gone Super Saiyan, basically. And then that whole thing happens, and he turns in the angel of death. I think that's what you call him. And then I think of the fucking Click with Christopher Walken. Anyway. He does that whole thing, and he just seems angry. Right? He is pretty fucking angry. Like, he makes these stump speeches. Like, he's been through shit. Because he has been through shit. You look at his story, and he's pretty goddamn fucked up. He has every right and reason to be angry and bitter and upset and mad and sad and alone and confused and just not knowing what to do but kill, try to get revenge. He's like Achilles almost in the Iliad. Yeah, I know. Oh look, fat white guy, fat neckbeard with a goddamn collection of fedoras trying to show off how fucking smart he is. Whatever, it's a good comparison. Fuck you. But he's like Achilles. Achilles has his best friend die before him, and he is furious about it. He does all this shit. He kills the man who killed his best friend. He does everything. He sacrifices more animals than one could count. He drags his friend along a chariot like some sort of mad hearse driver. He does this. He does that. He tries to find any way he can to avenge his friend and get the anger out. And it's sort of like Azrael, right? He is mad. He is angry. He is just not fucking feeling it because he's been trapped in this form that he hates for God knows how long. And this is the time where he finally says, I'm done. This is the time where he gets out. This is the time where he says, finally, I'm out. I'm out for just a little fucking bit, and I'm angry, and I get to try to rid myself of this anger. And he tries, and he tries, and he doesn't do anything because as hard as he might try, he won't kill Frisk. And even if he does, it won't change anything. He'll still be mad. He'll still just be an angry, confused, upset, disgruntled, sad, depressed. I don't know if he'd be depressed or not, but grief-stricken and just not know how to contain it. It's when Frisk says, I guess, the name, or whatever you named Kara canonically, it says Kara, and I save you, basically. The last part of the game, you save everyone. You save everyone's souls. Like a guy on an airplane, SOS. You save everyone's souls. And there's this moment. Then the music starts playing, and the bells in the background, and everything's so tense. And you see, again, the cutscene. He's like, what are you doing? What do you said the name of my best friend. Or who he thought was his best friend, whatever. And you're trying to save this person who I just can't feel anything but anger and grief for losing. And you save Kara, or I guess, who knows. And everything comes back to him. He remembers he remembers the past. He remembers what happened. He remembers how he could be kind to people, and that's what made him happy. He remembers everything he did. He remembers how happy he was when Kara was around. And all the memories he had come back. And he realizes, this isn't helping. This is making things worse. I don't like being violent and evil. I need to change. That's why I hated the flower in the goddamn first place. Things need to change. It needs to change. I need to fucking change. And he does. And he does. At the very end, he's saying sorry. He thinks that Frisk is Kara. And he says sorry. And he apologizes. And he says, I didn't want to do this, basically. He said, I had no choice but to do this because I was driven by my own rage at myself and at losing you. And I'm sorry, and I want to get this back, and all that. And then everything stops and freezes at just the most perfect timing. And then he comes down as his normal form, or was his normal form. And the person with the most right to be angry and mean and distraught about everything, he says, I'm sorry. And he says, I'm the fucking crybaby here. That shit's powerful. That made me literally cry. Not like, oh, I cried for 7. Like, that made me literally, like, tear up a bit. He said, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for everything I did to you. What does this Deltarune version have? Look, I'm cheery! That is an affront to what I think all of this, every Undertale really stands for, or at least what Azrael means. To me, anyway. You're basically taking a character who's been through so much and has so much reason to be all these things and realizes that being all those things is just not the way. It's not the way. Wow, I just said that. I just said that out loud. It's not the reason. It's bad. He realizes that being angry and being upset for something that really just wasn't his fault is just not, whatever. He realized that being this angry and being this distraught and grief-stricken over Kara and acting out his violence to try to cure it, it's just not the right thing to do. The right thing to do is to say, I'm sorry, and mourn over it. And he does at the very end of the game. And he says, what are you doing here? I just want to be left alone, I guess. You have better things to do. You go. I need to grieve. I need to sit here. I need to think to myself everything I've done. how much I miss this person who is in the ground now, and how much I want her back. That got really tense, didn't it? That escalated quickly. Thanks, alcohol. There's no fucking... Why do I keep calling this alcohol? There's no alcohol in it. It just looks kind of like wine. That's too old. It's like, oh, yes, wine that's better with age. There's bubbles in it. It's frothy. No one should drink this. No one should want to fucking drink this. I want to drink this because I have no standards, but, you know, bottoms up, I guess. Oh, God. Oh, God. I think I'm going to cut out that little thing I said about Azrael and just post that as its own video. Because how poignant I think it was. That was deeper than I thought it was. All right. See ya.